1, 2, 3, funky.
What's up, guys? How we doing? I hope that everyone is doing okay. Welcome back to Fun with Dom, where everyone is welcome. I'm your host Dom, broadcasting from London as always. Before that we start with this new podcast, I want to just apologize with everyone if I didn't post any new podcast, but I've been busy to try to figure out a lot of things in my life and also work-wise. As you know, we are at the same point of March, more or less, in most of European country. So we're just waiting. There is something happening maybe, but we don't know. But I just want to say sorry. I'm just starting to post again a couple of things now, maybe a few new videos in the next months. There is another 2 podcasts coming up in the next weeks. And if you want to be part of one of my podcasts, just send me an email or drop me a comment and I will contact back you. Also on my Instagram page, anywhere actually, anywhere you can find me. And you can ask me anything you want. Actually, there is no big problem. If you are in need of help anyway, just let me know. I will be more than happy to help colleagues without any problem. I hope that you will enjoy this new episode with my friend Andy. We recorded this a couple of months back. So yeah, I hope that you will enjoy. Andy, I always start saying, can you just tell about yourself to the people that are listening so they can have an idea who you are, what you do?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm Andy. I'm a tour manager. I started off in the industry working as a drum and backline tech. So I was, tuning drums, setting them up, maintaining them. Then it moved on to other backline like guitars, keys, playback. I did that for artists like 𝐤𝐸𝐸, Jessie J, No Rome, Uncle, 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿, Japanese house, a few.
𝐦𝐤𝐤 is a good guy, really good
Yeah,
guy.
he's great, man.
It's
His
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, his rig is crazy. As a backline tech, it took me like 2.5 hours to set up on my own.
Wow.
And it's just for one guy as well. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then he was actually he was like my first proper tour managing client. I'd done bits before then, but just because of the way his touring setup was, we kind of needed to minimize crew. So
Yeah.
we did like multi-roles. So I went from doing just backline to backline and tour management. And then we had a front of house engineer who also does production managing. So, between the two of us, we kind of handled everything.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, and then, just kind of toured with him for a few years and then, built up more clients. And now I run a company called Jump the Wall.
Okay.
We we build your team for you. We advance your shows. We do everything. One-stop shop for touring, really.
I'm gonna leave the link on the website on the description so people can check all your stuff. And
Cool.
you know what I love about yourself? The fact that you are like me. You are a guy that like to build a good team.
Yeah.
Been following you on Instagram for quite a long time now, and I met you. I mean, I saw you last time in US last year,
Yes.
South by West. Yeah.
South by Southwest.
Yeah. And I love the fact that the relation that you have with like younger, the one that I see most of the time on social media, is that for you is like a friend. So
Uh-huh.
it's not like a figure as an artist. And that's how it should be most of the time. But I think that when you tour with the big artists, it's totally different because maybe there is more crew. So it's different have that kind of relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're touring as like a small crew and you've just got like the artist and 2 crew or the artist and 1 crew, or you kind of have to be friends because you know you spend all your time together. As you know, when you're on the road, you spend all your time with the people that you're with. So when the artist hasn't got like a band, like you're kind of expected to fulfill that role of being their friend on the road. And obviously, like, it makes it easier when the artist is cool and you get on really well. But like, you end up doing a lot of things together, whereas when you're on a bigger level, you don't really, because the artist has they have budget to bring more people, or they've
Yeah.
they've got a bus and, all that kind of stuff. So, the roles are kind of more divided the bigger you get, I find. But, I always do think it's really good to maintain a relationship with your artist, because at the end of the day, you're in it together. Like, like they're you're responsible for everything for them. So
Yeah,
like they need to look to you, they need to trust you, and obviously with trust comes friendship and all sorts.
yeah. How did you start to work in this business?
I started off, like I said earlier, I started off working as a drum tech. A
Yeah,
friend of mine, I was at uni, and a friend of mine was a drum tech. He's called 𝐬𝐤𝐤𝐿. He was like, "Yeah, I'm doing all these gigs and stuff," and I was like, "Oh, I really wanted to kind of get into that side of the industry." Um, I was in bands before, and I kind of knew
mm,
it wasn't really going to go anywhere for me personally. So I was kind of like, I wanted to get in the industry. So luckily enough, he kind of gave me my first gig, and he was like, "Look, like there's no budget, but there's a tour going out. You can come along. You can just like learn the ropes, pick it up. I'll teach you, and we'll just do it." And I just kind of got thrown into the deep end into this like academy tour on a bus.
mm.
Um, and I was just like going, I was just like setting up keyboards and like like tuning guitars. Like it's all stuff I knew how to do, but like
Yeah, yeah,
you just gotta like perfect your skill. And then I just kind of I did that for free, and then just kind of like kept on doing that, met more people along the way, then started to like build up clients and met other people. You just get introduced to more people, and then next thing you know, you've got gigs and you're being paid. And yeah, it all started from just one person giving me an opportunity, which is
yeah.
really cool.
And you live the dream, as I always say, because that's like a dream. I mean, for myself, that's how I see. I mean, for us to work in this business, uh, we do for passion most of the time. It's not because it's all about money. And as you
Yeah,
say, at the beginning, there is always a starting point. Most of the time, it's always happening for free, and that's one of the advice that I always give a lot of people. I don't care what the old generation think about all of this, but for my point of view, for the experience that I've got in 15 years working the business, I
mm,
think that a lot of times you need to start from somewhere. And the best way, as you say, is go with someone, start to do something. Also, if it's for free, also if they pay at least just the food or just the transport or
yeah,
just the basic stuff, but at least you get your foot in and you start
yeah,
working in the business.
100%. You have to prove
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah,
It's such a competitive industry that there's so many people that want to do it. So like if you're prepared to work for free or do it for food, as you said, like, and you work really, really hard, you'll get somewhere because people see that you're dedicated to the job. Um, and like to be away from home that much, you've really got to enjoy it.
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone that is want to start to work in this business at this point?
advice that I'd give someone that wants to start off, I'd say try and be in the right places. Like go to gigs, talk to bands that are up and coming. They might be playing in your local town, and they might be on a tour. They might actually need someone to sell merch for them or drive their van for them. And hopefully that band will grow. I mean, just make friends with bands and just network with people. You might see that they have a tour manager doing front of house at the gig. Go and chat to him and see what he says. Just got to talk. Um, or she, sorry. But just talk to people. Um, really just there's no real way to do it. You just kind of got to make sure that you're chatting to people, keep them busy, being in the right places, and then just when you get a gig, don't mess it up.
Yeah. No. I agree 100%. And also, just to link with the point that you said before about the fact that we spend quite a lot of time away from home and away from the people that we love sometimes.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of people think that what we do is always glamorous life, and just because we work with artists that are famous, we get always a nice life. But I think that a lot of people miss the real point of everything. And as you said, if you love this job, you can do it. If you don't
yeah,
love, there is no way that you will do this job for the rest of your life.
no,
Um,
100%.
yeah, and I realized these more and more every day nowadays, especially that I'm getting old. I mean, not getting old, but I mean I'm on my 32 now. But especially for me that my family is not here, and I don't have got any friends in UK. I've got like 4 or 5, 10 people that like are friends, but they are people that work in the same business, so they are
Mm-hmm.
always away for tour or for
Yeah.
work. So it's the same
Yeah.
things. And most of the time, I found myself alone home when I'm home and say, I am lucky because I'm doing something that I love. But
Yeah.
in the same times, there is a moment in the life that we feel a bit down because, well, I don't know what I need to do. So if you love what you do, you can go through everything. That's how I
Yeah.
see it. When I feel
100%.
down, yeah, when I feel down, I say, look, what I can complain about? I have got a job that I love. I've got a lot of
Mm.
friends that love me, and I don't need to wake up and do a job that I don't like, as most of the people do. I can pay what I want if I want, and
Yeah.
I should not complain. You know what I mean?
I mean, one thing that I could add to that is that, like, this job comes with incredible highs, but it also comes with like incredible like lows.
Yeah,
Um, I've experienced some of the hardest times of my life being on the road. Um, and obviously like being, 8 hours or 8 hours time difference or 10 hours time difference, whatever it is. And like being in a hotel room, yeah, you're in a nice hotel, but you're on your own. It can be incredibly lonely. And that also I find kind of drives it, because you really wouldn't be able to withstand that kind of loneliness and being away from home and missing your family and friends if you didn't like it. Um,
yeah,
and obviously, like being a tour manager, it requires your 110% attention at all times. If you can give that, um, you've got to be the face of the tour. You've got to be the answer for everybody. You've got to have everything. You're the one person that everybody comes to when, whether something's going wrong or something's going right.
yeah,
You are that person. So you've really, like, to be able to give it your all, you've got to be able to do that and be happy of being away. Um, that's one thing that I found. And obviously, like, then I guess there's another thing, is being able to actually take that time for yourself on the road and giving that 5% for yourself sometimes, so you can recharge, and then
yeah,
you can also you can then give
yeah,
your 100% that next day when
yeah,
you're back in
yeah.
the venue.
Yeah, I agree. And also, you know what I love? I don't know if you had the chance to listen to the other podcasts that I do, but I love to talk about the realistic fact of the job that we do, because most of the time you hear just the nice story of the tour of people. I've done this, I've traveled this, had a fun like after show party, that kind of stuff. But a lot of people don't talk about the real problem of this business. That is what we're saying now. You end
Yeah.
up to stay alone sometimes, and you stay away from a long time, and yeah, there is always a moment in during the day that maybe you are so busy that your mind just don't know what you need to think about it, so you
Hmm.
don't care about other stuff. But when you come back to the hotel and you see on your desk, because I don't know, you have finished to do your budget or you are checking email for the next gig, you realize, oh, bloody hell, I'm alone here. There's no one. You're
Hmm.
still working, and maybe the artist is going out to have a drink, or I don't know. So it's always like I love to talk with people like you that love to tell the real story of what you do,
Yeah.
because I want that people that want to start this business know what is really happening, more that they really know what is happening, because it's not always glamour, it's not always easy to deal with this stuff. And I think that to do this job, you need to be a really strong person, especially to
Yeah.
work as a tour manager, as you said, because it's not
100%.
easy. I get a lot. I did a tour 3 years ago where I was getting a lot of shit from the artists, because they were drunk, and they were drinking every night, and they were smoking every night, and they were so pissed off that every night they were coming to me and just giving me shit all night. But you need to deal with that kind of stuff. You need to be able to deal with that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
because they are your client and you choose to do that job. So you need to be able to deal with that stuff. And that's not easy. There is a lot of people, I know a lot of people that they just say, no, I can work in that way. But I say, look, that's the way that a lot of artists work,
Yeah.
because that's how it is. There is no way that you think that they are all glamour and all nice. I mean, especially when you work at the medium sides and low sides level, that's where you get. So there is pro and cons, as I always say, but as I say, if you love what you do, you can do anything you want. So there is
Yeah.
no way.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do you think that is your unique skill that help you to become good in your business? Because I can say that you are really, really good. Rather than be a nice guy, because you are a nice guy, but you are really good at what you do. I saw you work on the stage when we was in Texas, and as I say, I follow you, and I understand how a lot of people put 100% when they do something, and I can say that you are really, really good tech. So, but yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, no worries, man. No worries.
I would say that, like, I mean, being a tour manager is organization. That's one of the main things. It's obviously it's being organized in your work, but also in yourself as well. Being punctual, being on time, or being early to something. But attention to detail as well. You know, when you've got so many moving parts, if you miss one bit of that moving part, you can really throw off the whole thing. So I'd say that attention to detail is really, really important. Organization, and then also, um, you know, being emotionally intelligent. you know,
Yeah.
your job is, it's not just logistics and schedules and transport and all that kind of stuff that comes with being a tour manager. It's mainly management. You know, you're managing people. You're a leader. You've got to be able to manage an artist. You've got to be able to manage a crew, but you've also got to manage them completely differently. The way you talk to an artist is completely different than how you talk to your drum tech. You know, well, it might not be, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, being emotionally intelligent is just being able to, you know, lead people, manage people. You know, you've got one head for your, you know, you're representing your side, but then you've also got to talk to people on the other side. So you've got like you've got the venue staff, you've got your touring staff. You've got to be able to, like, oversee absolutely everything and everyone and make sure that everything is running. There's no one on that tour that's controlling and running as much as you are. Yeah, I think those are the main ones, really.
Do you think that if someone want to start in this business, they need like basics? They need to have some skill that needs to be important to have. Like, you need to have this skill if you want to work in this business because that's important. Do you think
As
that
in,
there
like,
is something in
music,
general?
like, just like
Just
in
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
industry.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, networking skills are really important.
Okay.
I mean, I personally, you know, I don't really enjoy it having to network with people, but you have to talk, and you know, we all get gigs from word of mouth or social media or just relationships built up. So, like, to be able to, like, maintain those relationships and make new relationships, it's all about networking skills, I think. I mean, people, you can, you know, some people are like hard networkers where you see them, they're like go into a room and they're like talking to everyone and they're like, you know exactly what they're doing and everybody else does. But you know, you can be subtle about it and you can just like make friends with people and like drop it in. That's kind of the preferred
Yeah.
way I do it. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You always see that one person just like going in a room, like just talking to every single person they can, and it's really obvious what they're doing. But fair play to them, you know, fair play.
I'm like you. I can't do that. I mean, I am.
No.
I look like not a shy guy, but I am quite shy, especially when we
Yeah.
talk about industry. So I'm not the kind of guy that go there and say, "Look, I want to do this." It's not me.
I
But
mean,
I
you know,
try.
go on. Yeah, carry on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, confidence is key, right? You know,
Yeah,
you've got to be confident in yourself and confident in what you do. Otherwise, you're not going to make anybody else believe in you.
yeah,
But like, there's certain levels, I guess.
yeah. I mean, uh, I've met a lot of people during all of these
Mm,
6 years back in UK, and I found that in here it's been more challenger for myself, especially because learn a new languages and be able to explain yourself and to tell them what you are able to do and what you can do. It's always been like challenger for me, and
yeah,
it's been just maybe last 2 years that I've been literally more confident, as you say, to get to someone and say, "Look, I do this," or take a phone, just call someone. I remember that last year I spent like a couple of weeks just call management and say, "Look, I'm looking for work and I want to do this." I mean, I didn't get any job, but at least I try. You know what I mean? I try
yeah,
to get work through phone and try to contact manager. But the main thing is, as you said, is network. You need to see people, especially if you on the summer you go to work for a festival, you need to meet other freelance tour manager, sound engineer, and just like make sure that they know you. And yeah, I think that that's the best solution that there is. And I met a lot of people with my last tour with Billy Bragg on the road. They were coming to see him, and they say, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I've got my daughter there. She's an artist. She's looking for a tour manager." So it's all as you say, like the more you go network, the more you get job. So
100%. And it's all about how you present yourself.
yeah.
Don't have an
Uh,
email address that's really weird.
yeah,
I see that so many times, and I'm like, why are you handing
yeah,
that out to people?
yeah,
Get a
yeah.
work
No, that's
email. No one needs
that's
that
true.
email address you created when you were 12 years old and you were signing up to
Yeah,
Bebo.
yeah. Like
Uh,
Mark198 at
yeah,
hotmail.com. Or
yeah.
all they come.
I mean, it's something. I've seen some fantastic emails.
Oh
I mean,
my
I used to
god.
have a really bad one as well. I mean, when I first grew up, but
Oh, anyway, I guess that everyone have like a email when they start, because at the
yeah,
beginning no one
100%.
told that. Yeah, there was
It's actually a bit of
a email.
advice I got actually was from someone. It was on my
Yeah.
first gig. He's like, man, change your email address. that drummer boy Andy email address isn't gonna do you any favors. And I was just like, yeah, you know what, you're right, thanks. So I'm passing that bit of advice on that I got given and giving it to everybody else. Make
Oh
sure you
god.
have a good
Yeah.
email address.
Yeah. 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 What do you think that's the most uncommon reason that a lot of people fail or give up on this business?
Um, Fail or give up. They are two
Mm.
very different things.
Well, let's say give up. That's the more
Give
common
up. I
one,
mean,
I
we
guess.
could do
Yeah.
both, right?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
I'd say that personally, what I've seen in giving up is that you're just not getting enough gigs, or you're not getting the right gigs. You're not.
Mm.
Sometimes you get to a point where you're not picking up enough gigs to fund it, and you're spending. You need another job that can pay your rent or your outgoings or whatever it is that you've got. Or giving up because you just don't want to be on the road anymore. As we said earlier, it's like it's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard to be away that much. And like maybe if you get to the age where you start having kids and you're still on the road and your kids are growing up and you're not there, that I mean, I'd probably be a pretty good reason to give up. You know what I mean? I think it's all different, I guess. I mean, and fail. I guess the way you could see fail is being fired.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the main reasons that I've seen people will get fired are it's two reasons really. It's not being good enough. So like getting yourself into a gig where clearly haven't got the ability to fulfill that role. Um, that can happen multiple ways. I've seen it where people have, you know, kind of bent the truth to get themselves into a gig and they've not delivered, or the gig's developed and they haven't. That they
Yeah.
sometimes, obviously, if you get an artist that starts at club level and then they jump up of some levels really quickly in the next year, and next thing you know, they've got these like crazy setups, and you just can't. Your skill set isn't enough to grow that artist, and that's
Yeah.
that happens. Um, yeah, I think
Yeah. No, I agree.
that's
Yeah, I
kind of what
agree.
I've seen. And also as well, I've seen people go because of personalities. Um,
Mm.
main As we've been saying, like when you're on the road, you spend so much time with each other. You've got to be you've got to get on with people, so you've got to be good at socializing, or just saying the right things or not saying the wrong things. If you don't click within a touring group and you're on a bus with them for 8 weeks, you're going to grind, and it's going to happen, and I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just you just got to. I mean, I've always like kind of seen that, like, you'll get a gig because you're skilled and obviously you're good at what you do, but like also like I would say that like the most important thing is that you're cool and like you get on with people and you're easy to work with and you're just a
Yeah.
good person to be around. That is almost somewhat more favorable to
Yeah.
being really, really good at your job and then not being that much of a nice person. Do you know what I mean?
I agree 100%. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's totally. It's like me. I always say I am able to adapt myself from different situation
Yeah.
because I am. I don't want to say that I'm cool because it's too much, but I'm okay. I'm a good guy. I can make sure that everyone
You're
is
cool,
happy.
man. You're cool. I say it. You're cool. We,
But yeah,
you are cool.
so yeah, I try to make everyone always happy. And if there something is happening, I say, look, there's no problem. Let's fix the problem together and let's make sure that everyone is happy. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Uh,
No,
did you have any?
definitely. It's really important.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead,
No,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's really important just to be easy to get on with and just
Yeah, yeah.
nice person.
Do you have another job outside of this job that you do, or you just do work as a tour manager or backline tech?
I don't actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
I've
you're like me.
I
Yeah.
only, yeah. I mean, I was quite lucky in the fact that I've been quite busy. Um, I mean, I still I run my company, Jump the Wall,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of like a it's not a side hustle because it's still tour management, but like, I'll be on the road tour managing a client, but I'll also have a couple of other tours out at the same time that
Yeah.
I've advanced, or like I'm a tour coordinator for a couple of artists.
Mm.
So I kind of oversee their whole live aspect. So there was points last year where I had like 3 or 4 tours out at the same time. So it was quite busy. So like, I have to kind of, where I might have that hour off in my day, I didn't have that hour off in that day because I was busy answering emails, doing other stuff, for the other tours I
Yeah.
had going on. So that kind of like it's the same profession, but it also acts as like almost 2 jobs sometimes
Yeah.
if my head's got to be in 2 places at once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's for myself, it's the same things, but I do like more corporate sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's less to, yeah. I'm starting to do, I mean, I was supposed to do more tour this year, but everything
Oh
is
man,
happening. So yeah.
weren't we all? Weren't we all? I mean, I'm sure your listeners know about this, but obviously the whole live industry came to a standstill in March.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
about you, but like I just finished one tour and I had a week before going into another one, which then like was basically the start of the like whole of my year. It was like it
Mm.
was then just going to roll from that point, and like in that week, everything just went. It was
Yeah.
insane. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, and we're still nowhere near coming back,
Yeah.
um, which is crazy. But it is
Yeah.
what it is. This is the
Well,
time.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've been using this time to really get on top of everything and just like make sure that so when we do come back to it, I've got absolutely everything in
Yeah. That's
order.
what I'm doing. The same things. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
important, man. It's just like, but it's like housekeeping. It's just like making everything legit, making just little things like making all your folders the same on your
Yeah.
laptop for your
Yeah.
artists. It's
Yeah.
just little
Yeah. Yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
like when we do come back to it, it's just going to be, we're all going to be way more prepared. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see how prepared all of my tour manager and crew friends are for when we all come back. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there would be a lot work when everything will start again because there would be a lot of people that want to do
Yeah,
more tour because they've been like stopped for a long. I had a call yesterday about a tour that was supposed to do uh, this winter in Europe for a 4 week, and the artists decided they want to do next year. But in the
yeah,
same time, they were supposed to do just this small tour that was like 2 months or months and a half, but they decide to do another month at the beginning of the year next year. So
yeah.
maybe someone will decide to do more stuff next year. Someone will do just some stuff this year. So we need to see because, as I say, there is nothing. I mean, there is something to worry, but not much because we don't know really what is happening. We just
No, we
know the
don't.
number that yeah. So we just know the number that they told us, but we don't
Yeah.
know if they will reopen, if they will not. So we need to
No,
just wait. Yeah, yeah,
I mean it's all speculation really. I mean,
yeah,
most of my artists have all pushed back for 2021 just to kind
mm,
of not risk 2020. So like, the kind of I'm seeing a lot of people just go, look, let's write off 2020 because it's too risky, and we'll just make sure when we do come back in 2021 we're ready for it. But so I've already started working on tour early stages of tour advances, like getting quotes and stuff for next
Mm.
year already. It's crazy. I think I've actually done just as much work as I have for the 2020. I have 2021 now.
Nice.
Crazy.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
We're
no,
we're in May 2020. It's mad.
at this time of the year, you never got the time to look at yourself in the mirror because all this
I know.
festival season is starting. So yeah,
I know.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy. Now and
Yeah.
now we're doing work for tours in 2021 already. Crazy,
Yeah,
man. I never
yeah,
work a year in advance. This is fantastic.
yeah.
Also, as
Uh,
well, the one thing as well is like I like to get ahead of myself, but like so much is going to change in the next year that like everything, all the work I'm doing now will probably be
you
undone
need to
by the
get
time it
gay.
comes around. But it's something, yeah, but it's something,
Yeah,
it's good to kind of, it's kind of good to keep yourself busy and do little things, right?
yeah, yeah. Uh, that's a strange question, maybe, but what's the most important things that you ever learned in the last 5 years of working this business?
What's the most important things?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, just, be punctual, be on time,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
be cool, don't lie. I,
Yeah.
the best thing is just to be honest about any
Yeah.
situation. Get ahead. If you're honest about it, you get ahead of it. If you lie, you're just playing catch up, trying to fill that lie. Yeah, just be respectful to people, be nice, um, work hard. There's always going to be people in competition to get gigs. So work hard and do well. Look after yourself. That's really important. Look after yourself. Don't burn out, and just all round, just kind of put your heart into it. If you love it,
Yeah.
you should let that be just that you should let that show in what you do. Do it with pride, right?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's my view as well. I think in the same way. That's the same stuff that I've learned in the, especially to be fair, especially when I move over here. I need to see that my view about this job changed quite a lot. Um, I was coming from Italy with the background of an owner of a company, uh, of a production company. I was like driving a truck, uh, build the stage, put
Yeah,
up the PA, set up the desk, everything that I bought, and everything after 5 years failed because people were not paying, and it was so difficult to explain to people my vision at that time to do a good job and put up an amazing like show for them. But I think that the mentality back in that day was not ready yet. And also, I always say, I don't see Italy like a place like UK so uh, prepared to work in the
yeah, it's
business that we
yeah,
do.
it's different when you do shows over there, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe the big
I
show,
mean,
but yeah,
that's the same in a lot of countries that you kind of, you go to like Japan and it's amazing. Like you've got all these crew and there's everything's perfect. And England, America, and Europe, and then like some parts of the world, where you go to like places like Mexico or Kuala Lumpur or something, or Thailand, and it's just like people aren't. It's not the same culture. People aren't,
yeah,
you know, and you kind of have like stuff doesn't turn up on time, or all this stuff that we're like it's unacceptable, but to them it doesn't really matter because it's just different over there. And like that's where like the real importance of your crew comes down to being important, is that you've got to have crew that can get through anything. Like, oh man, like we did a show in India. We did a tour in India a couple of years ago, and we got to the venue, which was like literally like a podium on the beach, like just a platform on a beach. And the airline had lost all of our bags. We had like this one Peli that the artist flies with that's like got like a little small like 4-channel interface and like a MIDI controller in.
Hmm.
And then like we get to this like beach venue, and there's like there's like no backline there. Nothing that we'd advanced was there, like absolutely anything. And we were like, right, we've got this show in 6 hours. How are we gonna do it? And we were like pulling in like bits of backline from like random villages. Like we had like an SM57 in the kick drum. Like
Oh,
it was like the drum heads had like were like 2 ply, but like the bottom ply had like blown off, and like it was chaos. But we pulled a show together out of like
yeah,
literally nothing. Um, and like as like a kind of like that when that happened and we pulled that show together, we kind of just like sat down after the show, had like a beer, and we just looked at each other. And we were like, we can't believe we just made that happen. Like that, it was the most stressful experience of my life to date, and we did it, But that's because
yeah,
we'd
yeah,
like we worked together as a crew really well. We all got on. We kind of knew each other. It was just like all hands in, let's go, and we made it happen.
yeah.
And I think like if there was parts of our crew that were lacking, or we weren't as tight as we were, I don't think that show would have happened. So like it's
Wow.
really important.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I agree. As I said at the beginning of the interview, yeah, that's one of the things that I love about yourself and about the people that you work for, and that's the relationship that you can create.
Yeah,
It's not something that you find always. Believe me, I see a lot band and a lot tour manager, a lot production manager, and there is still the kind of generation that they don't care about anything rather than just money and smoke and drink. But anyway. Um,
yeah.
there is anything in particular that you are focused right now that we don't have got a lot time to work and just stay home?
Is there anything I'm focused on? You said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Focus on, yeah.
Um, I mean, just you know what it's like when you go on tour. You're like, I want to be at home.
Mm,
So like you miss home, and there's loads of things that you don't get to do because you're not home enough, and it's like stuff around the house, DIY stuff, seeing your friends and family. I mean, obviously, right now, given this current situation, that's a lot harder to do because we're not allowed to see any people that you don't live with. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but I mean, me personally, I've been using this time just to like really just kind of have some me time. Um,
Nice.
just like do things that I want to do. If I want to wake up and just watch TV all day, I can. If I want to wake up and go for a walk or whatever, socially distant walk that is anyway, I can. But it's just about really, this is the most amount of time a lot of people in the world are going to have off.
Yeah.
Like I know for me and for you and for a lot of people, we know it's like 2021 is probably going to be really, really busy.
Oh
And
yeah,
there'll
definitely.
be times next year where we're probably not home for a few months.
Yeah,
And we're all going to look back and we're going to be like, oh, you know what? Like, it's really good that we had that time in 2020 because now it's crazy. Um,
yeah,
so it's just about just getting into a regular sleeping pattern, eating well, just relaxing and just giving your body that rest because we've been at working at full capacity for a long time now, and it's all just come to a halt. It's you just kind of got to adjust and really just
yeah,
relax. I mean, obviously times are stressful right now because there's no work and we don't know when we're going to have work again, so you kind of got to be active and whatever it is that you're doing to get over that. But yeah, my main thing is just kind of chilling and just doing the
good.
things that I wanted to do and taking time for myself, and then
Yeah,
also doing bits of work to keep myself a little bit sane as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Doing a
yeah,
little
no,
bit
I
so
get it.
to make
Yeah,
you feel like
yeah, 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 yeah. That's nice. Last question for you. Uh, where do you see yourself in the next? I mean, I say 5 years, but it's up to you. You can change to 2 years or 3 years time.
yeah.
Where do you see
I
yourself?
mean, I'd say in 5 years' time, I'd like to see myself working across my company more, not not being on the road as much as that I am now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So kind of overseeing my company and really working on that. Maybe going on fewer tours and just kind of being able to be home more because the one thing that I do really value is family and friends, and I miss them dearly when I'm away.
Mm,
Sometimes a lot more than sometimes what the job feels worth it sometimes.
yeah. Yeah.
So, me personally, I'd like to kind of like be at home more in 5 years' time, but we don't know. Obviously, we
You
don't know
don't know.
what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
ideally,
yeah.
I'd love to be running my company more and just, yeah, overseeing everything.
Yeah. Well, you can call me to work for you. It's fine. I will come without problem.
100%, man. I'm sure there'll be stuff. I mean,
Anyway,
who
thank.
knows, man?
Yeah, who knows? We will see. We will see. We will
Yeah.
see. Anyway, thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. I really appreciate that, the time that you took for to this with me, and I hope that I will see you soon on the road for sure, because
Yeah,
this
man,
will make.
100%. Let's when this is over, we'll grab a beer or something in London.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, yeah. Thank you once again for listening, guys. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube to listen more episodes. And remember, be positive. Life is one.